So we are another episode of Versus Design, and I'm asking both our design experts here. This is Aldrich and this is Nandika. We're going to ask them to look at two different websites and ask them which is better design. What criteria would you judge these websites for? What would be your decision criteria?
Of course, ease of use.
Ease of use. So
probably number one.
Ease of use.
Overall branding, like the visuals, the look and feel.
Branding, look and feel.
Yeah, in relation to that, I guess, the microcopy, how they communicate their ideas.
Copy?
Yeah.
Copy.
I think to add to that, like the wording choice, like the word choice they use, what kind of emotion that evokes in the users.
So what emotion it evokes?
Yeah.
Emotion.
And of course, quality of your options, since we're looking at booking places, the quality, the variety.
So this is our decision criteria. Ease of use, branding, look and feel, copy, what emotion it evokes, and the quality of option. Okay? So we'll look at two different websites, and your websites are Airbnb and Agoda.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
On their home screens, they both have your primary objective, which is to enter a destination and your dates and how many people are going.
I think one thing that I noticed with Airbnb and Agoda is like this one is more responsive to web, because right now everything fits on this screen. Airbnb, because initially it was full screen and there were options here, and when you make it half screen, so it kind of responds to that and you can access it over here.
Yeah, I guess it's tablet sized.
For Agoda, like I don't think it's web responsive right now, because you have to scroll horizontally.
Really? Let's shrink it a little bit. So that was their tablet ones. On their home screen, they do have some imagery. It's kind of cute. It's illustration based.
Great.
Let's go to Tokyo, Japan. Tokyo, Japan. Let's leave this weekend. 5 days. 2 adults or solo traveler. Search. Okay, so loading screen. They had a bunch of fillers. Wow, this is pretty busy.
Yeah,
It's just
all there.
like there's a lot to take in. What I do appreciate is that it's already defaulted to best match, and it says here these properties were selected just for you, but at the same time I didn't really give you much information about me, unless I was like signed in and I already have some information. Then it kind of makes sense.
But you're not signed in, right?
But I'm not. I'm just, this is my first time.
Plus, like you
experience.
didn't give that many details that made it personalized for you.
One thing I just saw now and I like is these little banners that they have. This one,
I feel like
that's just them promoting themselves. But then this one, I like this. Are you looking for family-friendly accommodation? In the chance, so if you turn it on and off, it'll reload. I kind of appreciated that.
I'm gonna look at Airbnb.
Yes, let's do that. Alright, so we're going to Tokyo, Japan. Very visual.
Less cluttered and more like visual focused. I got a bit confused here. Like at the top they have like sort of like a filter of like what do you want to see or search for. Could it be like all stays, or do you want to see specific types of apartments or rooms? But then when you scroll down you have options anyway.
Yeah.
Like that was a bit like confusing for me. Like either they could have started with this, or if they have options here, like we should have just left. Like we didn't need this here. When we go into unique space, I'm kind of curious what that's about.
What just happened? So I go unique stays, and then it gives me the map, split screen with the map, and all these. Hold on, really quick. I'm gonna go.
Honestly, is the map necessary though? Like,
I think it is. Just so you have like a reference point on where exactly it is, especially if. Well, obviously it's pinpointed to Tokyo, but if I specifically put Edogawa, then probably would have centered Edogawa over there, which is, I think, is useful.
I find the visual aspect of Airbnb more appealing than Agoda, just because of like the background image they use. It's very like captivating, versus like for Agoda, it's like just one color and it feels a bit plain, especially for travel. It should be exciting, for personally, at least for me.
Again, Airbnb is very visual with how they communicate. So
Yeah.
like if you scroll down, everything is a thumbnail. That's an image. It's an experience. Okay, somebody's twerking. That's interesting. Airbnb promotes experiences and cross-culture exchange. So you have people creating pasta here with their experiences. You have people surfing. So it's really nice, very visual, and you can kind of tell that, oh, this is more travel-based. Whereas Agoda, straight up, I mean, they have some, but it's just kind of very...
I think it's more directed towards hotels.
Or potentially it's maybe because a lot of people who use Agoda are more business travelers.
Oh, I see. There's
Maybe.
Agoda homes here. I think.
Hotels and
Oh,
homes.
okay.
There you go. So
Feels-
that's a lot warmer.
Yeah.
But still the
like,
same.
yeah,
Same,
still
same,
the
but
same.
different.
They just changed the illustration background.
Yes. It's still kind of overwhelming, so let's say recommended for you. You have a tag here, you have your prices, you have compare price, and they're comparing directly with Priceline.com, which is, I guess, their biggest competitor because they're straight up calling out Priceline on their page.
It's the same price, actually. We could leave these tags out, like these kinds of information you get when you go into the page of the hotel or home anyway. So just to make it more easy on the eyes, I feel like we can remove some of the information that can be presented on a bigger screen.
You can kind of distill the information here to the most important, or what you would assume is the most important to a traveler. So here they call out exceptional location or nearby transportation, which is really important for a traveler.
Yeah.
Kitchen, washer,
Yeah, all of
Wi-Fi, air conditioning may not be as important. So I guess visually they didn't give it that much emphasis, but it still kind of takes up some real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, Wi-Fi definitely nowadays is important to everybody. That's like oxygen, but
Right.
I don't know. It just feels really, really cluttered. I think the biggest thing, like you said, that's cluttering the UI, or at least the entry, is all these extra thumbnails.
Yeah, you don't really need
Why not just put one really good image, and then when you go into it, then you show the rest of the images.
But one thing I did appreciate is that they changed the currency to the local currency. Sometimes, like on these
Yeah.
websites, they just leave it in dollars,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
that's inconvenient for the user if that's not their home
That's true.
currency. Yeah.
They have some elements here, that try to rush people into making a decision. It's like, hurry, 86% of properties are fully booked, and then there's a countdown timer. So they're adding pressure.
I don't think that's good UX, just because, like, from my experience, it just makes me stressed out personally.
Yeah,
So-
I'm not a big fan of it because, I mean,
It's like you're rushing your users to jump into something that they might not necessarily be fully invested in. So, and if their experience is bad, then their association with the brand is in turn like negative.
reserve yours now before prices go up. So now I have
It's
1
pressure.
hour before I get price gouged. Ah, that's scary. That's so pressure.
They put like a time pressure on you.
Yeah.
So, like things like that, like even with the words you use, you can impact on the experience of the user.
Airbnb has similar, a similar nudge. It's like 4 or 14 spots. This is popular. Over 2,100 people have booked it, but there's no countdown timer. They're
Yeah.
not really pressuring you that much,
Yeah.
which is good.
What do you
but
think about that approach? Because it's not just Agoda who does that.
yeah,
It's a
A lot
lot
of
of-
booking
yeah.
sites
They
do
do.
that, right? So,
I think it's very common amongst like hotel booking sites
but
to have
I
a
think from a
countdown.
business perspective, does that translate to money for them?
The way I see it, I feel like if you pressurize someone, they're not keen on doing something just because like you put the pressure, or maybe it works. So depends on.
Would you consider this what do you call the UX dark pattern?
dark
Yeah.
Do
pattern.
you think this would be like a dark pattern for you?
I would say so.
I get the business requirement of like, oh, we need to make the sale, but at the same time, you're not going to make the sale if you're making your customers uncomfortable, right?
Exactly.
So that's
they might disagree with you and show you the numbers.
Yeah, they might, yeah.
That's what I was saying.
I
It
mean,
might work for them, you know.
From
like,
an idealistic standpoint, I guess, or from a more emotional standpoint, there are better ways to push it. And for example, comparing one-on-one, Airbnb here, I'm looking at an immediate listing for somebody's place. And it says, this place is getting a lot of attention. It's been viewed 126 times in the past week. I mean, that's already a little bit of a nudge and pressure. Like, hey, you know, somebody might book it very soon.
But it's more gentle.
But there's no countdown time where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, if you don't book it in the next hour, we're going to raise the prices.
Yeah, it's just a suggestion. It's not kind of like a threatening sort of tone in it.
Yeah, it's a nudge, which
Yeah.
I appreciate more than 10, 9, 8,
And
7.
this
Oh
one
my
makes
God.
you want to like be more interested in booking that place because this place is popular versus having a time that I'm gonna lose my money if I don't
Yeah,
book it. Good job, Airbnb.
I'm just trying to see where these options take me and what the UI looks like afterwards. So my initial expectation was similar to I guess with like Agoda and Expedia, they would show me specific options that I can book already. But what Airbnb is trying to promote is also their new experiences, curated travel itineraries by locals.
And Agoda, they kind of put all options together, but here they've neatly like categorized it in terms of things you could do. Airbnb is more experience focused because they have more options for activities, not just like places to stay, and I think that's very cool.
Do you feel overwhelmed by this?
Yes, because there's like so many options. It keeps going. Like right now, I don't know if you noticed, but there was like a loading thing and
Yeah,
it went on.
the infinite load or
Yeah. It just seems like the options are endless.
yeah, sake experiences, fashion experiences.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't think I would scroll this far.
Yeah, me either.
I mean, because if I was using Airbnb, I just want a place to stay, and then I'll figure out the things to do.
Looking at our decision criteria, you say ease of use. You would say who won?
Airbnb.
Airbnb.
Branding, look and feel.
Airbnb.
Airbnb, though Agoda is a pretty good second.
Copy, micro copy.
Airbnb in the micro copy, but again, Agoda is catching up in that sense, and more websites are doing that too.
Emotion. Which emotion it evokes, which is
I think like what we discussed earlier, like with Agoda, it felt like a sense of urgency and pressure, versus with Airbnb, although they had like slight gentle nudges towards like what options are like reserved or like booking out full, like fast, but it didn't feel like that much of a pressure.
the quality of options, the last decision criteria. You
Oh,
see
the
enough
options.
options, or did you see enough quality options?
Yes, for both. Again, mainly because they're kind of different still. Airbnb is more people community focused, whereas Agoda is hotels.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Options you'd get would be different for both Agoda and Airbnb, because Airbnb is more focused on house hosting and experiences, versus I feel like Agoda is more like what Aldrich said, it's more focused towards hotels and corporate
Yeah.
feel.
So it's more human versus, I guess, maybe
So-
business. So.
And the winner is?
Airbnb.
I guess it's Airbnb.
The winner is Airbnb.
The tiny fine print is like not a complete one-to-one comparison because of their focus, but overall, like UI wise, it's still Airbnb.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversations with Designers versus Edition. And thank you to Aldrich and Nandika for joining us. Hope you see us for our next episode.